my name is Hector. This is Everything Horror, where we like to talk about everything horror. Today, we are going to talk about the 13th floor haunted house. That's right, we're continuing haunt season. This is the best time of the year. The best time of the year to get scared and hitting up well, not all. I don't have that kind of money, you guys. But we're hitting up a bunch of the haunted houses out here in Arizona. Most of them in the Phoenix area. All of them in the Phoenix area, let's be real. We went to the 13th floor haunted house, and I bet you want to know, was it an enjoyable experience? 13th floor haunted house is a haunted house out in Phoenix. It's off Bill Road. It's at the Santisi Brothers. Well, near the Santisi Brothers. It's not at. That'd be weird. And it's at a. It looks like it was an old supermarket, possibly. I'm not too sure, but it's a big space that they have to work with, and it's an indoor haunted attraction. So all their sets, all of it is inside. Now I went on a Thursday night, and it was actually pretty busy for a Thursday. I had picked that day because I thought it was going to be the least busiest, but it was pretty busy. But it's probably not as busy as it gets, on the weekends. So uh, I can't imagine. Actually, I can after being at Halloween Horror Nights. Holy crap, those lines were intense. But yeah, back to 13th floor. Sorry, I just had a flashback. Uh, 13th floor. Oh, they're actually called 13th Floor Entertainment Group. So that's who oversees a lot of the 13th floor, other various attractions like Fear Farm out here. They oversee a lot of those haunts across America. Now, 13th floor had two themes this year. So it's two houses. The main house is Creature Feature. Now, this is where we come across one of my first negatives about 13th floor. They say they change their themes. They always come up with new themes, but to me, it just looks like they come up with new names for the haunts. They're the same sets, pretty much the same path that you go along each year, but they name it differently. And it's actually a little bit, how do you say, false advertising. They say it's creature feature, so they're showing like Frankenstein. They show like vampires, werewolves, mummies, but you don't see really anything like that whenever you walk through the 13th floor. It's the same sets as before. They have the regular pirate area, a little bit of that Egyptian jungle. They have that same gothic area where it's like the graves and all that. So it's all pretty much the same, except you don't see any Frankenstein. You don't see a mummy. You don't see a werewolf. At least I didn't. And you don't see a vampire. I didn't see any vampires. And I wish they would actually have, whenever they show, like on their advertisements or trailers, a lot of different makeup or prosthetic design monsters you don't really see at the haunt. When you first walk into 13th floor, when you walk into, the scare area to line up, they just had two actors out there, and it's one of the creatures, one of my favorites. I love the design, Gravedigger. He looks awesome. And then they have pretty much like their main mascot, which is, I forget what his name is, but it's the tall, skeletal looking guy with the top hat. They had them out there. When you go into the house, there's really not much as far as like prosthetics or, well, there are some, but not as much as you see advertised. Um, you don't really see too much of that. And 13th floor is a huge company. They have a lot of money in production. The sets are amazing, but they don't really change year after year. They keep everything pretty much the same, and um, a lot of and the scare actors, the makeup on them isn't even that great. The other house, which is Rise of the Dead, which is pretty much Zombieland, like years before, it's all the same. Um, there's not much for them to put on them. A lot of them just look like they just have blood on them, and that's pretty much it, which is a letdown. I was hoping to see more actual like decaying zombies, things of that nature. Um, a lot of the sets are the same in each of the houses. If you're going to 13th floor for the first time, I say definitely an awesome first haunt to ever go to. It's very well done. The production is amazing. But if you've been to it before, you've seen it all before. There's not really any changes. Makeup and all that, there's nothing stellar to talk about there. Um, they don't really show a lot of the creatures that they advertise in their trailers or in their actual website, which is another letdown. I just don't like the false advertising, saying that you're changing the themes when in reality it's all the same. And there's not even anything in regards to a creature feature. You don't even show anything as regards to like homage to, the early horror films, even like Hammer or Universal. That would have been interesting. But yeah, like I said before, if you've never been to 13th floor, I say go. It's worth the money. But if you've been there before, it's all the same. And that's a letdown. Um, if I'm gonna give 13th floor 2 grades. If I had never been there before, I was just judging on production, set design. They're really immersive whenever you walk in. I would give it a 5 out of 5. But since I've been there before and there's really no changes, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. But yeah, you guys, I'm sorry if I'm coming off a bit too negative, but, I expect more from them, especially because they're a big time haunt. It's an industry haunt, and I feel like some of these industry haunts, they give themselves passes. They know they already got your money, and they don't really do anything much to change, especially with Arizona being not that big with haunts. There's not really much variety. You have Sanctum of Horror, you have 13th Floor, you have Fear Farm. 13th Floor and Fear Farm are both owned by 13 Entertainment Group, so they're their own competition. And I'm going to Fear Farm, I think, next week. So I'm going to be judging that pretty much the same as I would 13th Floor. Probably the same as I judge any other haunted house. But what I look for is there changes? Can I tell that you're putting a lot of work into this haunt? How's this scare actors? What is the production as far as makeup, costume design? I look for all that type of stuff. I expect 13th Floor to have bigger production in costumes, creature designs, because that's what they advertise. But yeah, you guys, that was my review for 13th Floor. If you like this type of content, please make sure to subscribe. Give this video a like. If you love everything horror, that's a good thing. I love everything horror, and that is what I talk about on this channel. So what are you doing? Just subscribe. Anyways, my name is Hector. This is Everything Horror. Take care, peeps.